I never thought my marriage would end this way. Omar, my husband, stood in front of me with another woman by his side. I'm going to be with my real family now, he said coldly. Let's just get a divorce. My heart sank. After years of love, he was throwing everything away. Jewel, our daughter, held my hand tightly. Omar had not only cheated but built a new life behind my back. I felt my world breaking apart, but I wouldn't let this destroy me. If he wanted to leave, he would regret ever treating us this way. Omar and I met in college. I loved reading and writing, and he wanted to be a teacher. We became close and later fell in love. Life was good at first. We supported each other's dreams, got married, and had our daughter, Jewel. I thought we were happy, but over time, things changed. Omar started coming home late, drinking more, and ignoring us. I told myself he was just going through a rough time. Now, as I looked at him with another woman, I realized the truth. He had left us in his heart long before today. I should have noticed the warning signs. Omar had been acting strangely for years, spending less time with us, avoiding conversations, and sending less money home. Jewel noticed too. "Dad, you don't even know Mom," she said. Omar frowned, confused. He thought I would beg him to stay. Instead, I stood tall. "If you want a divorce," I said, "you'll get one, but it will be on my terms." Omar smirked, thinking he had won, but he had no idea what was coming. He thought I needed him, but the truth was, I had already moved on. Omar believed he was the only one supporting our family. He had no idea that while he was running away from his responsibilities, I was building my own future. I had become a successful writer, publishing books that readers loved. One of my novels was even being made into a movie. As I told him this, the smirk on his face disappeared. Jewel handed him my book. "Mom earns more than you," she said with a proud smile. Omar looked stunned. He had left us, thinking he was in control, but I was already far ahead of him. Omar tried to act like it didn't matter. "So what?" he muttered. Tana, his new woman, held onto his arm, looking uncomfortable, but Jewel wasn't finished. "Dad, do you even know if that baby is yours?" she asked. Omar's face turned pale. He looked at Tana, expecting her to deny it, but she didn't. Instead, she avoided his eyes. Omar started to shake. He had left his family, betrayed his wife, and spent all his money on a woman who had lied to him. He thought he had won, but he had lost everything. Jewel had done her research. Tana had been involved with another man before she met Omar. The timing didn't add up. "Tell me it's not true," Omar begged. Tana stayed silent. That was all the answer he needed. Omar stepped back, his world crashing down. I should have felt bad for him, but I didn't. He had chosen this path. He had treated us like we didn't matter. Now, the woman he trusted had betrayed him, just like he had betrayed us. Karma had come full circle. Omar was finally facing the consequences of his actions. Omar looked broken. "Cecile, I made a mistake," he said softly. But I had no sympathy for him. "You didn't just make a mistake, Omar," I replied. "You ruined our family." Jewel nodded. "And you don't deserve us anymore." Omar looked at Tana for support, but she had stepped away. She wasn't going to stand by him now that the truth was out. Omar had given up everything for her, and now she was leaving him too. I watched as he realized he had no one left. The strong, confident man I once knew was gone. Omar wanted to argue, but I had already made my choice. "We're getting divorced," I said, "and you'll pay your share." He tried to protest, but I didn't let him. "You wasted our money on her. Now, you'll pay back what you owe." Jewel smirked. "Good luck affording it without a job." Omar flinched. His career as a teacher was over. No school would hire him after this scandal. "You did this to yourself," I said. He had wanted a new life, but all he had now was regret. He was truly alone. Tana was panicking. "I'll help you," I whispered, "but only if you cooperate." She hesitated but nodded. I agreed to reduce her financial penalty in exchange for proof of her affair with Omar. It wasn't about kindness, it was strategy. With her help, I ended the marriage quickly. Omar, who once controlled everything, had lost all power. As he signed the divorce papers, his hands shook. Jewel and I walked away, free. The moment the ink dried, I felt lighter. Omar was no longer part of my life. He had to deal with his mistakes alone. Omar's affair became public knowledge. His reputation was ruined. The school refused to take him back, and his parents were ashamed. "How could you do this?" his mother cried. Even they refused to help him. With no money, he had to take a labor job, one he wasn't strong enough for. The stress aged him quickly. He lost weight, his hair thinned, and his confidence disappeared. The man who once looked down on me was now struggling to survive. He had chosen this life, and now he had to live with it. With Omar gone, Jewel and I started fresh. My writing career thrived, and we moved into a beautiful new home. "We're finally happy," Jewel said one night, and she was right. I had once believed Omar was my future, but he was just a chapter in my story. My real life was just beginning. I had survived betrayal, heartbreak, and loss. And I had come out stronger. Omar had thought he had control, but in the end, I was the one who had won. My happiness no longer depended on him. I was free. Life without Omar was peaceful. For the first time in years, I felt free. I no longer had to worry about his lies, his mood swings, or his broken promises. Jewel and I spent more time together, laughing, talking, and planning for the future. My books continued to sell well, and I had more opportunities than ever. One day, my publisher called. "We want to adapt your latest novel into a series." My heart swelled with joy. The same woman Omar once thought was weak was now more successful than he could ever imagine. I had won in every way. Omar, on the other hand, had lost everything. His job was gone. His reputation was ruined. Even his own parents had distanced themselves from him. He tried to contact me several times, but I never answered. There was nothing left to say. He had chosen his path, and now he had to walk it alone. One day, he showed up at my door, looking tired and defeated. "Cecile, can we talk?" he asked. I looked at him, but I felt nothing. The love I once had for him was gone. "There's nothing to talk about," I replied, closing the door. Jewel and I moved to a new city, ready for a fresh start. I bought a cozy house with a beautiful garden where I could write in peace. "Mom, we finally have the life we deserve," Jewel said, smiling. I nodded, feeling grateful for everything we had overcome. Omar was just a part of my past, a lesson I had learned. I no longer felt pain when I thought about him, only relief. I had once believed I couldn't live without him, but now I saw the truth. I was always stronger than I thought. As time passed, I found happiness again, not just in my career, but in my heart. I met someone kind, someone who truly appreciated me. He wasn't perfect, but he respected me, and that was enough. He treated Jewel like family, showing her the love Omar never did. For the first time in years, I felt safe with someone. "Are you happy, Mom?" Jewel asked one evening. I smiled, holding her close. "Yes, sweetheart, I really am." I had spent so long being afraid of love, but now I understood. The right love doesn't break you, it heals you. Looking back, I realized Omar's betrayal had been a blessing. If he had never left, I wouldn't have found my true strength. I wouldn't have chased my dreams or built this beautiful life with Jewel. He thought he had destroyed me, but instead, he set me free. Now, I was living the life I had always deserved. Jewel and I were happy, and that was all that mattered. "To new beginnings," I whispered, raising a glass. The past was gone. The future was mine to create. And for the first time in my life,